Good afternoon, everyone. Today is June 11th, and it's Monday, so happy Monday, everyone. We're at the start of the new week. We're also heading into the new moon in a couple of days. So let's just get into the energy and just the reading today. So I've been toying around with how I was going to do it. So today what I did was a reading of just the energy for the collective, just in general, like what is the energy, and then pulled for like any messages, suggested action. I don't really like to call it even that or even advice, but I just really left this open to just being messages, and obviously bottom of the deck. So if we just talk about bottom of the deck off top, we have death in reverse. So that's already this feeling of there is a transformation taking place or needing to take place. But truthfully, I feel like this is where it's taking place. It's already begun, but whether we are consciously or subconsciously or unconsciously trying to block this change and this shift, this transformation, that's what's kind of happening with that in reverse, I'm feeling. And I do feel like the rest of the cards kind of confirm that. So let's just talk about the general energy for the collective today. We have the Empress with the Judgment, with Judgment in reverse. So with both of these sides, you know, you can see one of them came up reverse. So I'm kind of seeing this in not just the reverse meaning, but I'm also seeing this as maybe more of the internal, and this is more of the external. Like more, this is kind of like what the ego is doing or going through, or how the ego is perceiving things, and then this is like what's going on underneath it, like more spiritually, if that makes sense. So I'm feeling that what is coming forth, what's coming to my mind is that my eye is the heart here and the Empress. And not just that, the reading that we had yesterday and many of the readings that I've been giving to other people, as well as the new moon readings that I have started myself for the signs. Just a lot coming up about whether it's with the oracle cards, with like the cosmic heart, or you know, the Christ light, having to open your heart, even the energies of the transmutation, you know, letting your heart be open, changing, transmuting those fear and more, you know, quote unquote negative emotions into something positive or something more beneficial to you. So I'm seeing that that's maybe what's really happening, but the way I'm kind of seeing this is because there's both water in both of these cards, and what guides will often refer to with the water in this card is that you finally come to like the very opening. Like imagine if you're following a stream or a river all the way down to so you could find, you know, the main body of water. That's kind of what I'm seeing here. And so even as I was talking, you know, through the past couple of weeks of us going down this journey, even in the cards, the imagery of us going down some sort of stream of intuition, stream of emotion. And so I feel like, yes, that's where we're at. We're at, you know, our soul, like in the best and worst ways, and where we're finding out what we really value, what really matters to us. We're also pulling up the wounds that come with that, the wounds that came up that also show us, you know, what's most valuable to us, which can sometimes come through some sort of pain or some sort of loss or anything like that, emotional struggle. But this, I'm almost feeling, can kind of mirror this, which I guess makes sense. I also want to think about it being June 11th, you know, or one day. So just back to these two cards, it feels like there is a blocking of the heart. There's a blocking, like we're not wanting to really deal with the emotions. Not that we're, I mean, I feel like it's a little bit redundant from yesterday, but I feel as if it's not that we're not dealing with it. It's just resistance, I guess, is kind of the thing. The theme is just there's an emotional resistance to the change. I'm even seeing the way that the water, it just kind of pours, the water just flows, the energy flows. And so I feel like that's also kind of what is happening as we're removing these blocks. It's like an overflow of emotion. And this can be, perceived good or bad, where maybe it's an overflow of relief or joy or love or happiness for yourself, or it could be an overflow of old pains and old wounds that you had buried deep, and having to reconcile those emotions now. Even when I see this cross, I feel like it means something else, but in this moment in time, I'm thinking of it as healing. See, is there anything else particularly with these cards? I'll probably bring it up as we go along. What I will say, though, is with... Oops, let me pull this up. With this 10 of Swords and then the Page of Cups in reverse, this being the message or guidance that we most need to receive at this time. And so I'm seeing this as not blocking the flow. Like the Page of Cups is very in touch with their feelings. It's kind of, heart on their shoulder. The way I look at this card is even almost just very communicative with the fish. The fish live in the water. The fish use the water, to navigate, to geolocate, do all those things the way that bats do with sonar with the air. And so I'm seeing it as the same kind of thing, us no longer blocking our own feelings and our own intuitions about things. I think I even posted a few, I don't know if I actually posted those clips, but from Maryam Hasnaa's class on rebirthing. I totally forgot to link her information, but I will try to link that down below today. But she was speaking about the childhood wounds that we carry and the ways in which we repeat them in our own adult lives, and how everything tends to come back to some sort of childhood wound. And so that's kind of what I'm seeing this as, is no longer maybe not listening to our feelings, maybe no longer listening to our emotions, no longer invalidating our emotions. And even just with this 10 of Wands, with this next to this Death card in reverse, for me the message is to let this happen. Whatever kind of ego death, I guess if you want to call it, dark night of the soul, there's a bunch of terminology. It's all it's all just words for us to kind of put it in a box, but it is that feeling of having to really completely give in and be like, all right, the way that I've been doing this, the way I've been running this, the fears that I've let control me, and I was thinking fears because underneath we have Justice in reverse. We also have the World right underneath in reverse, and underneath that was the Devil. And so I do feel like all of this is this bondage kind of energy, and it has to be cut. And the ways in which we cut it is that we not even cut, but that we let go of that part of us that feels like our feelings are not valid, that feels like our intuition is not valid, that feels like maybe just being emotional is invalid, being in touch with your emotions, showing your emotions is invalid. Now just looking even now at these cards over here with the Empress and Judgment, I definitely feel like this is just a mirrored image here of blocking the feminine energy, of being in touch with the unknown, being in touch with your intuition and your emotions and the world that's not easily seen. This card is always, of course, of abundance and fertility. And I feel like those are just like more the 3D manifestations, or like the physical, what we can see with our physical eyes. That's how the abundance will appear to us in the physical. But that a lot of this could also, mean blocking of that abundance too, or blocking of, creative energy if you're working on a new project and you're just feeling like immense, creator's block. But what I do feel ultimately is causing this is ourselves, where we're not allowing the change to take place, where we're maybe not making a decision, or we are I am seeing this as not making a decision, but with these to get all three of these together, I'm seeing this as us really not letting a karmic cycle come to a close, so that we can actually come into who we really are. Like when you see this card, it's when you learn about, or the more that I have learned about this card, I'll say that, is the more that I realize this is really like the Fool card on the inside. Like the Fool on the inside is aware of the infinite possibilities, and that's why he can carry himself with this. Regardless of what happens, it's going to be cool because there's infinite possibilities. Not just that, but that there is no right and wrong. So whatever I'm doing is going to be cool. It's going to be fine. But yeah, with all these in reverse, I feel like a lot of us are not letting the transition take place, or like we're just really resisting. I don't want to say like we're stopping it, because this isn't something that can be stopped, but we're really creating a lot of resistance, and that's creating a lot of our own turmoil. So I did pull an oracle card just because I've just gotten into the role of just pulling these cards just as like an extra confirmation. I'm not going to read the passage or anything because we're already at 12 minutes, but we have here the Lover and the Beloved. And so, as I read this passage to myself, it spoke of us being aware of the love that we want, and us being aware of the things that we desire, and the emotional fulfillment that we are seeking, right? But what's keeping us from it is our belief that we aren't deserving of it, or because of our past wounds or our past experiences, we are attached to those, and we allow those to determine our future experiences. Very classic, easy example of, I've had my heart broken before, so if I, try and date again, I'm just going to have my heart broken again. And it's a release of that kind of thinking. And I'm also definitely feeling that with, the Ten of Swords and the Page of Cups in reverse. So the ultimate message that it did leave with is, if you feel this, not just if you feel like, that you're deserving of this kind of love that you want, right? You're deserving of the unconditional love. You're deserving to have your feelings understood and accepted. And not just that, but like you should be allowed to be quote unquote imperfect, or quote unquote human, and that should be accepted and still loved as well. I mean, that Marilyn Monroe quote comes to my mind, and it's so cliche, I don't even want to say it. But like the whole, if you can't handle me at my worst, then you don't deserve to be, there when I'm at my best, whatever it means, or whatever the actual phrase is. But it is kind of along those same lines. Obviously, there's, an extent to where that can go. Everything has a balance. But it is that feeling of really realizing the ones that are able to stay there with you and understand you, not willing to throw you under the bus, the ones that don't invalidate your feelings, the ones that will accept that you don't always agree, or just all of that feeling of acceptance of people that feel differently than you, act differently than you, are differently than you, only in this, in this experience, because ultimately we're all mirrors of one. And so I'm gonna just end it at that, of us really having to accept ourselves as we are. And once we do that, once we accept ourselves as we are and we let go of the martyrdom and the victimhood, we're able to allow ourselves to have that connection with the divine, to have that feeling of abundance, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, all around. So I'm going to end it at that. Today's video did get out a little bit late. This morning was just really weird. It was just really weird in a lot of different ways. So I definitely needed to make sure that I meditated and kind of let the energy settle today. It was really interesting. So I hope this message reaches you guys as well, or reaches you guys well. Do check out the daily videos as always. Check out the weekly tarot forecast. Definitely do that. I really like the information and the messages that came through for us for this week. Oh, that's what I do want to mention. For the new moon readings. So my desire was to have these out, obviously in time for the full moon. Not that, receiving the reading or watching the video or anything after that would just be like a waste of time or anything like that. It would still be very valuable, if not more so. But it really was my goal to get them out, at least to the day of for everyone. But what I'm realizing is that it's because I really want to give my all with the readings. I mean, as you see with my readings, they go about 20-25 minutes long, and they're getting longer as I'm starting to include more messages, more ways that I've am receiving messages, all of that stuff. So what I am not just considering, but I believe I'm going to do is put a small charge for the videos for the signs for the moon readings when it comes to new moon, full moon readings, specifically because those take up a lot more of my time and energy. It takes energy. I can do a couple of them, but by the end of the day, I am pooped and I'm tired. And so I just am really realizing there's got to be an even energy exchange with everything, because I really love giving this info, and I love, being able to learn from you guys as you give me feedback and all that stuff. But I believe I'm just going to make the charge $2.22. I believe that's just all it's going to be for each video. Each one will be about 25-30 minutes long. I will have some of those up by the 13th. My goal is to have most of those up. I honestly don't want to release them until I have them all up. So I guess we're just going to play that by ear. But ultimately, what this does do is that it does free me up so that I'm able to do a full moon reading or new moon reading for the collective. I can still give messages for everyone in case, you don't want to purchase it, which is totally fine. And that way you're still able to get some sort of message, because ultimately, I don't believe you need to have finite currency in order to have access to this, which is why I try to make things very accessible. So let me know how you feel about that, or just what you think about that. I will be implementing that this week. So if you have been trying to visit my site or anything like that, and you've seen the notice, that's what that's about. I'm really just trying to figure out how I'm going to have this streamlined for you guys so it's easy to access and all that. So thank you so much if you did listen all the way through. I really did appreciate, I apologize, you listening all the way through. Clearly, I have got to stop talking. So with all that said, I love you guys so much. Sending you guys all so much love. Wishing you all so much peace and happiness today. And I hope that we're all working to find our joy. The joy that we have inadvertently blocked ourselves from. So have a wonderful Monday, y'all. And until tomorrow, bye.